everyone. It's Out of the Box podcast. I'm your host, Jim Andre, and I'm here with my co-host, Bradley Powers. And tonight we have special guest, Gary W. White. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm good.
All right, thank you. Gary W. White is in the house. Thank you for
Welcome,
joining us,
Gary.
For the opportunity.
Woo! Woohoo, Gary W. White is in the house.
All right, so
Yes.
Gary, you consider yourself an experiencer, correct?
Yeah, contactee.
All right.
Experience. Yeah.
Well, give the viewers a little bit of your background.
Background. Okay, like a lot of people, started at 5 years old. Right around 5 years old, I'd hear these beans in my room, and I'd call for my mom, and she'd tell me the typical, "You're dreaming. It's just go back to sleep." And well, I was awake, and it was scary. It scared me. They said they backed off until I hit my I guess it was late 20s. I saw a mothership in the San Francisco Bay Area. The thing was the size of a couple of shopping malls. I was with a friend of mine, and he started freaking out, and I wanted to drive to it. I start driving towards this thing, and I feel that they know I see it, and I'm driving to it, and I look up, and alongside my car there's two craft following us. So I told him, if that's not a UFO, what are these up above us? And he got scared. He wanted to go home. He's telling me, take me home. I don't want to go near this thing. So I turned around and take them home, and they were all gone. That kind of went away. It was I guess then maybe into my mid 30s, I started having near-death experiences. It's feeling like my head's flipping upside down. And I'm wondering, is this something physical? Am I having an aneurysm? Do I got a tumor? Is it spiritual? And then one night I'm hanging out with a friend of mine by a pool at a motel, and I start going through this, feel like I'm dying. And something pops in my head to chant Jimi Hendrix Mellow. So I start going Jimi Hendrix Mellow, Jimi Hendrix Mellow, Jimi Hendrix Mellow, and it goes away. So at that point, it showed me that it wasn't something. I'm not going to have a hemorrhage. And went away. Came back to me one night. The feeling of dying was so intense that I said, okay, I'm going to lay down and face the fact that I'm dying. This is my death. And at the time, I was homeless, living in the back of a truck. Laid down in the back of this truck I was sleeping in, and a voice popped in and started explaining that we have a band of energy that surrounds our planet, and it's like in black and white. It's creative. So you tap into it in black and white, and it comes out through us in creative forms. Like they showed me a song that I had written that was very similar to the song Bulls on Parade by what is the band? Forget the band. The song's called Bulls on Parade. Very similar. So they showed me some music. They gave me a song. I asked for violins and cellos. Violins and cellos would come in. I asked for a vocal line, so I started singing. This went on till I had to get up. I got up and it went away, and it wouldn't come back. So I go back and forth through this near-death experience, over the next couple of months. And then once again, it happens really bad. And I lay down once again, feeling like I'm going to die. And the voice starts talking to me, and I'm going, okay, I need to get up and answer the call of nature. And they said, okay, we're with you the rest of your life. We've been with you your whole life. So I'm going, okay, I get up and I'm doing my thing. And they say, you need to get back in your truck. A cop's coming. So I get back in my truck, and sure enough, a cop drives around the corner, takes off. And I'm going, wow, this is, what am I in touch with? I hadn't put together the UFO sighting, and it probably went maybe about 3, 4, 5 months. Voice, I wake up and they're all, hey, Gary, and they start talking. And finally I go, let me have my mind back. And they said, okay, we'll be here. We'll answer your questions. And then I'm reading a book one day, and I see this little UFO come out from a cloud, go back in, come out and go back in. And they said that we're the ones that's been communicating with you over these past months. And since then, I've realized it's not these typical aliens with the big heads, big eyes. They are individuals that look exactly like us. You would never know the difference unless they want you to know. Started doing psychic readings for about 10, 15 years. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Psychic readings, help people. And I realized that's not what it was about. That it's about information and also helping people with my part. That kind of brings me to where I'm at today.
I think it's got to do more with an awakening than anything else.
Yeah, it does. Hang on, I got people coming in my house. I may have to go to a different location. But yeah, it's about awakening, Jim. Is exactly what it was about.
Right.
That was my awakening anyway. Here, let me go. Change, excuse me. Sorry.
That's okay. Are these apparitions translucent light forms?
Well, what I've learned, Bradley, is they are energy, basically. And it's like what people call light beings, but they will manifest physically. They're not born like us through conception, live birth, and live, 80 years, 70 years, 50 years, or get in a car wreck or a heart attack. They don't have a planet and a house with 2 cars and kids in college. You know what I'm saying? They manifest physically on a very temporary basis. They do this with molecular manipulation. They could manipulate molecular structures, speed up, slow down molecules.
So would you say that they're from actually like another dimension, or?
Exactly. Well, Jim, it's basically like when we dream, when we die, we go to the astral planes. That's basically where they exist. There are parallel dimensions that they have access to all of these dimensions. We can accidentally cross over to these, sometimes intentionally. But they've explained it like this. We're going through complete physical human understanding. It's a reincarnation process. We're learning what it is to be physical. Now, once we finish this, there's 78 other forms of mental and physical understanding that we go through. Each one of these levels of understanding has its own dimension. These are all parallel to each other. And this earth is the physical plane where you're learning these lessons of the physical.
Yeah. So if you ask them, do you find if you ask them the question, they will give you an answer, Gary?
Pretty much. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do. But yeah, for the most part, they do, Bradley. There's a couple of things I've asked, like, apparently they're part of one of these 78 forms of development is to learn how to develop the physical. But who started the initial spark of the physical? And they said there's things that our level of understanding that we can't comprehend. And it's weird because I've asked them a couple times. People have asked that question. What was the original spark of energy, the original creator? And really all I could say is what is perceived to be God. And I get a picture of a splash of color.
Yeah, what God is, in my opinion, is an energy source in essence.
Yes. Yes. And you and I, Jim, we've had some conversations and we parallel sounds like the same type of beings and
right. The same teachings, in other words, same experience. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, in your opinion, what is the most important message that they've revealed to you about our future or anything like that?
Well, and one thing I've said when I got into this, I'm not going to be this doomsday dude that the world's coming to an end and all of this. But it's in recent times, I mean, everyone's saying they're feeling something is coming. Something's going to happen. And what they've told me is it's the collapse of the civilization, that every civilization has collapsed. None of them go forever.
Exactly. Exactly. Historically, every civilization that has risen has fallen.
It has.
And our current day society won't be any different.
No,
it won't. The only difference there'll be is in how it falls and with what intensity.
And they said, the closest thing as far as religions, I mean, I guess it could be considered revelations. Okay. It could be what the Indians call Kali Yuga, East Indian Hindus. call Kali Yuga. And the Yugas are 4 cycles of the earth, and Kali Yuga is the final cycle. It's death and rebirth. They said humanity's intentions upon humanity are horrible. They're way off balance. And you can just turn on the news and see this with the shootings and murders and the way kids are treated. This all needs to be, and it will go through what we talked about earlier, recycle and reset. The planet is being destroyed. People are killing each other. It's just something has to give.
Yeah, well, we're not good to ourselves. I mean, that's the basic problem.
That's what they said. They said humanity's lost the ability to help each other. You got pockets that, yes, they do. But for the most part, the people in control that shape everything are all out for greed and money and power.
Well, it's all about control. Exactly. That's what currency is all about, control.
Yeah.
I mean, currency, that's the cause of the number one demon in the world is greed.
Yes.
And, for currency, we do anything for currency. We'll buy, we'll beg, borrow, steal, even go on to kill each other for money.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you can't go and look for a job. Something very simple. I remember being younger and looking for a job, it's pretty cut and dry. Now you're getting scammed. Just trying to find employment to support yourself. You got an elderly old lady that's on fixed income that has this set amount of money to have what she needs to survive. And you got people just trying to scam them out of the little bit that they got to survive. It's become horrible,
Yeah. Vinci Dart is watching us, and I'm really pleased about that because Vinci Dart, we'd like to get you on the show for Sunday if you're interested. We'd like to have you on the show Sunday, Vinci Dart, if you're interested. Over to you, Gary.
Yeah, Bradley, I don't see any comments at all coming through here. I don't see any at all. Do you have any on your end?
Yeah, I've got Vinci Dar's joined us, Vic Macro is in the house, Alec Kubetsky's in the house, Stephanie Belski's in the house. So I've got a few forums not to go here, Jim.
Yeah, I'm not getting any at all here, which is unusual. I just got one.
And that's from Rick Makaroff, this message.
Yeah, Vic says, so when and if humanity transitions to 5D, also known as the spirit realm, do we humans all then lose our physical bodies in doing so after experiencing this physical state of reality we are currently experiencing now?
Well, what I've learned is the population will go down to about 3 to 5%. And yeah, a lot of people will die, but this reincarnation process continues on and it will build up. And this is what it's done throughout the history of this planet.
Yeah, so basically what it is of and within itself is a cleansing.
Yeah.
A renewal, right?
A renewal. That's why I like to refer to it as recycling.
Yeah.
Well, that's what nature is a never-ending recycling process.
It is.
From seasons, to lifetimes. I mean, from day and night seasons to lifetimes. Yeah.
It's very true.
So how long have you been an experience for, Gary?
Well, it started when I was 5 and I'm 61 years old. When I was a kid in school, they used to give me like cartoon scenarios, like visual images in my head. And I didn't realize at the time, I just thought it was me. In hindsight, I realized it was them. They've been there my whole life. But consciously communicating with them, knowing who I'm communicating with, it's been about 35 years. I started doing the psychic readings with a pager and business cards back before the cell phones and internet and dial-up. Remember dial-up?
How successful were you in that area?
I was successful, Jim. Helped a lot of people. I tried to make money at it, but I wasn't successful at that. I found out that it wasn't for me to make money off of. So I guess it's what you determine successful. Was I
Right.
able to help people? Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good. Yeah, that's good.
the best feeling is sit there and give somebody information, and it brings them to tears, and you help them.
Right.
That's just a great feeling. But I thought I mean, when I had this voice explaining all this stuff to me, and I'm answering questions for people, I'm thinking, wow, I'm going to be like a millionaire in the next 6 months. And it didn't work out that way. That's not what it was meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Here I
Right.
am 35 years later, and I make enough to survive. I live a very meager life, you know?
Well, that's what life is about, is survival anyway. As long as we can survive, we're doing all right, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I've made it through a lot. I've had a very strange, rough life, you know? And I always used to say, why me? Why am I going through all this kind of wah thing? And past few years, I've realized that all of this hardship that I went through is to help people. You know, you can't help them. You ain't been there.
Yeah. So you are an alien contactee, alien abductee. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Bradley, are we there? Okay, there you guys
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
I don't refer to it as an abductee. I genetic development program that they do. And rather than set you up out of your house without your permission, I believe that this is all.
Yeah. We seem to have lost connection there.
In exchange, they
Alex,
work with me with higher development.
okay. Alex Kovec says, I love you guys. He's been watching Bradley Powers for years. Love the show. I hope you remember me. I've had quite the year. Thank you so much for sharing it with me. Alex has been watching Bradley Powers for years. I've been going a long time, I guess. Wow.
Okay, Vic is asking Gary, is it possible to reach within oneself a full state of consciousness and hence transition further and stop the
I don't understand what he's asking to reach.
reincarnation process we constantly go through? In other words, we keep coming back. Is there any way possible to stop that if we choose to?
I think we cut out. I'm not hearing what you guys are saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Vic's asking, is it possible to reach within oneself a full state of consciousness?
Can't hear you.
Go out and come back in, Gary. Gary, go out and come back in, rejoin.
Sorry. Go on.
Okay, are you guys there?
Yeah, can you hear us?
It cut out again. I think I might have just fixed it. Unhooked the Wi-Fi when I changed places in the house.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
All right, Vic is asking, is it possible to reach within oneself a full state of consciousness and hence transition further and stop the reincarnation process we go through?
Yeah, I'm sure that's very possible. I mean, I think that's what we're all trying to achieve spiritually, you know, except for those that are what I refer to as sheeple. Get up, go to work, pay the bills, go to sleep, get up, go to work, pay the bills. Anybody, you know, trying to ascend spiritually, they're reaching within themselves. They're looking for a deeper meaning.
I think basically life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys heard what I was saying about the abduction piece. I think it got cut off.
Yeah, we didn't get that clear, I don't think. Go ahead.
Yeah, the way I don't look at it as abductions. I look at it as a genetic development program that we volunteer for. It's all part of our soul contract, decisions made before we're born. And then basically you're receiving something in return. For example, myself, they help me with higher mental development and they help me with creative development. You know, they got the saying that you can't take it with you, like your physical toys and whatnot, but your creative development, your psychic development, all this you take on from lifetime to lifetime. And they help us to develop this. So they help us with that. We help them with the genetic development. These genetic procedures and the genetics on this planet are used throughout the multiverse to develop beings like us. And it's all a
I
program
would
we're
think,
working together, not being snatched up against your will.
I would think that we would have to retain some type of experience in order to learn through each cycle.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Why don't you go out and come back in, Gary? Can you, Bradley, see if he can hear you all right?
I can hear you. I can hear you, both of you clearly. Okay.
Still didn't get it.
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you okay, Gary. Sound check, 1, 2, 3.
I just kicked him out,
Oh.
so when he comes back in, he'll reset it. Hopefully, I've been trying to tell him to go out and come back in, but he can't hear me.
Yeah, good one. Smart thinking. I got a question for you, Jim. See the Devil's Tower. Do you believe it's a dormant volcano, or do you think it's petrified wood was once a massive tree?
Well, no matter what it is, either one, what does that got to do with the devil?
It's a random question. I'm throwing it in because it's come up on screen and I'm very interested. I believe it's a tree.
Midnight Rider is saying, "Good evening, gentlemen. Jim and Bradley, has anyone ever told you that you look remarkably similar? Almost like twins?"
Yeah. You can tell the difference, Night Rider. I tell you, you know which one's Bradley Powers and which one's Jim Andre. Jim Andre's got more teeth than me. That's how you could tell the difference.
And another way you could tell is I have hair.
Oh, oh.
I wonder if Gary's trying to get back in. Does he know that he can come in through the same link? Is he aware of that? Or
Yeah, you should know that. Oh God, we've had this. Do you know what? Last time Gary was on the show, he was on the show for half hour. Oh no, about now. Oh,
yeah.
and I was totally enjoying that as well.
I guess his connection is getting kind of weak or something.
Yeah, he was on the show half hour last time, Jim.
Yeah, just about that same amount of time this time as well.
Look, I've got some coming through here. James Blake. Hi there, James Blake. James Blake is in the house. Thank you for joining us, James. Vinci Darts is with us.
Okay.
Cody Greer says, hi, Bradley. I wonder if Gary White is watching. Gary White's our guest on the show, Cody. Well, he was our guest on the show.
I'm back.
He's back.
Gary is back. Cody Greer was asking if you're watching the show.
What's up, Cody? I'm having some kind of technical difficulties
Yeah, I kept trying to tell you to go out and come back in so you could reset. So, is it better now? Can you hear us better now, Gary?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
I was doing this pinging, sounding like a robot.
You have
Gary
earphones?
W. White's in the house.
You have
everybody.
earbuds?
What was that, Jim?
Do you have earbuds? Earphones?
No,
No.
no, no. I'm just on my iPhone. But I've turned the router back on, the Wi-Fi back on, but we're having problems with it too. I'm mostly on data.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mobile data. Yeah.
Yeah, mobile data, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all Bradley's fault. We got to blame somebody, right?
Can't just blame it on cell phones, period. Connections.
Blame it on technology itself. There we go.
Exactly.
The technology
Blaming
itself
on the
is
boogie. Blaming on the boogie. Remember that, Jackson? I think it was Jackson. I don't know.
So what were we talking about before this interruption?
I was going to say that technology itself is somewhat flawed, just like man's intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary, is the Devil's Mountain? Is that a petrified wooden tree turned to clay, or is that a dormant volcano?
You know, I was thinking about this. If this is a wooden tree, wouldn't you be able to cut into it and see rings?
Not really. If
No.
it's petrified, I don't think you would.
So when it becomes petrified, these rings and a tree are going to disappear.
They become clay.
I thought
clay.
it becomes stone, harder than
Oh,
clay.
so you
Clay is
think it's a
soft.
dormant volcano, do you? Wow. I go with the tree. Though. Wasn't it used to make the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind as well?
Yeah, it's a big part of that movie. But a volcano is shaped different. A volcano is shaped, you know, it's a gradual buildup. This is a straight buildup. Devil's Tower, more like a tree.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
been cut
tubular.
down with a laser. Quartz diamond tip laser. Cut that down.
Yeah,
Amazing.
just to me, if they were to cut into this, they would see rings in it, even if it's petrified.
There's loads of them all over the planet that have been cut down because they reached to the heavens, and I think they was worried about giants climbing them. I don't know what the reason is that they cut them down, but they reached to the heavens. These trees, they're like sequoia trees. Sequoia trees live 5,000 years, longest living tree ever. You know, longest. I don't know what lived longer than 5,000 years. Tree. Oh wow! And they were cut down because they reached to the heavens. I know it's a random subject. We've changed the subject completely because the subject is Gary W. White. Is the subject. Let's get back to Gary W. White. So they are translucent light beings.
Beings. They manifest physically when they need to work with their
Physically.
physical.
Have you seen them in the flesh, Gary?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Wow. I've seen spirits in the flesh, and I know it's possible. Believe it or not, for those of you, if you don't know, then you don't know. Spiritual entities can manifest in the flesh. Actually, on 3 occasions I've seen this. One was demonic, but the other 2 were not, and they were in the flesh. Yeah, and it is possible, very possible. I believe how they do it. Not all spiritual entities can do so, by the way. Some can. Yeah, and so can interdimensional, multi-dimensional entities do this as well. I'll tell you what I've been hearing, Gary. You know the Pleiadians are benevolent. I'd say even divine. I've been hearing the stories of no, they're not. They're also dark. I'm playing.
Mine has been a very angelic experience, but they got an explanation of this. Why some people go through the terrifying, some people, like me, it's angelic. Okay, it's a matter of your involvement. How long have you been involved with this? I've been involved with them multiple lifetimes. Okay, if this is your first life, you're involved with them. It's like the reincarnation process. It starts out with hatred, it ascends to love. So it works the same being involved with them. It's a multiple life process. It's not just one involved with them.
Beachy Dahl would like to share something with us. He says, what we do know is that the Devil's Tower has the properties of most petrified wood, but also has a structure in itself. It's possible it's much more than just a tree, even if that statement is true. Much more than just a tree. Yeah, it could be a vortex. There could be a vortex there as well. That's not impossible.
Midnight Rider says,
more information coming through. Jim's got this
Midnight.
one. Yeah, I'll read this. Or do you want to read this, Jim?
Go ahead, Bradley.
The Midnight Rider says Roger Spur of Mud Fossil University truly thinks that the Devil's Tower is not a giant tree, but that it's the ankle tendon of a fallen giant. Wow. His empirical evidence of this is very intriguing. I had never heard of this perception before. A ankle tendon of a fallen giant. Wow. How amazing is that? I had never heard that perception. I'm open-minded to the concept of all things. That way, I leave plenty of room for wisdom, enlightenment, and divination. But like that's a theory. That yeah, I still go with the tree theory. I believe it's a tree myself. But like, yeah, I haven't heard that theory before. That's very, very. That's excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. Midnight Rider. I like your name, by the way. Midnight Rider sounds really cool. Over to Gary W. White. Oh, what? Have we asked, is it possible to reach within oneself a full state of consciousness? We said that. And hence transition further and stop the reincarnation process we constantly go through. W. White. We can stop the reincarnation process by seeking the purpose of life. And the purpose of life is to seek ascension. If you seek ascension on this side of life, then when you cross over, you will be given an option, I believe, that the option you will be given is to reincarnate or evolve onto a higher plane. If you are a sleepwalker and dormant and you don't recognize the purpose of life is to seek ascension, then when you cross over, you will reincarnate back to this life until you get it right. Basically, that's what I believe and what I understand. Or like everyone has a different theory. There's more than one truth. And Gary is a silhouette again. And that's what time for a milkshake.
Oh, Gary disappeared again. I think he hit the wrong button this time.
Oh, there must be a God because I've got chocolate milkshake here. And like, it makes you wonder. Oh, thank you. Scott McLennan said he agrees with me. Thank you very much, Scott McLennan. James Blake, wow, said, I've had some experiences with both angelic beings and demonic beings that were flesh. Well done. Thank you for sharing that, James Blake. I've had experiences with two spiritual entities that were flesh, and I've had experience with one that was demonic. No, that's not true. And I had an incubus that was flesh as well. He put his tongue in my ear. In fact, oh, there we go there. Yes, it is possible for spiritual entities to manifest in the flesh. So thank you for sharing that with us, James Blake. I believe you as well. And you also, I'd love to hear the stories from you, James Blake. James Blake, you've got to come on the show and tell us about the angelic beings in the flesh. We've got to hear these stories. Thank you for sharing that with us, James. Gary, Oh, and Gary's not back. Okay.
Yeah, Gary went out again. I don't know if he completely lost connection or what.
Well, we're doing well with two-thirds of the show. We're through, and we had him, then we haven't, and now we've lost him again. While I'm trying to share the show as well. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Gary completely lost connection. He's not back yet.
No.
Oh, it
Rightio.
happens.
Please feel free, anybody watching the show, to ask us any questions you like. We normally got an answer for everything because there's more than one truth and there's more than one theory. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, experiences, that's what we share. While I'm sharing the show to a gazillion groups. Well, oh, Gary. Where is Gary? Gary W. White.
Yeah, I think his connection is
Yeah,
lost right now.
I agree with you, Jim. Yeah, I'll start rustling up some images and some short videos from TikTok, probably, of paranormal phenomena. Because,
Yeah.
that'd be good. That'd show. I think that's a good idea.
So what's the
Thank you for
weather
joining
been like?
us.
What's the weather been like there, Bradley? Is it cold out there?
Oh, it's cold on the face, Jim. You go out there. I got a puffer jacket I found in a black bag. I got a puffer jacket. I put that on, and I'm really warm. And I went outside. My face, the wind hit my face, and my face was ice cold. Wow, like I've been
Yeah.
slapped across the face. You know, with an ice cold hand. Wow, it was
Yeah.
really cold. James Blake says, I was outside a food kitchen near where I live, and a dark being had pure dark eyes, no white colour in them. I prayed and I looked for it and it was gone. Thank you for sharing that, James Blake. Wow. And the dark being had pure dark eyes and no white colour in them. Wow. Quite scary, I'd imagine. You wouldn't want to look it in the eye, would you, again, after a second? After the first glance, you wouldn't really want to look again. Oh, what a shame about Gary W. White.
Yeah, I guess he can't get back on. I don't know. Well, it happens. Technical difficulties.
As per usual. Yeah. I was sharing
So
the
what's your take on a god, Bradley? You think it's an energy source, or what's your take?
I believe you've got two gods. You've got the prime creator source is a energy, neither male nor female, yet it's both masculine and feminine, is not empathic. I believe if you put out negative energy, you will get negative energy returned to you threefold. If you put out positive energy, you'll get positive energy returned to you threefold. And I believe that the God from the Bible is a spiritual entity who created the universe, where the prime creator source created the multiverse. And they are both different gods. I don't believe the prime creator source doesn't require a religion. You don't have to be religious. You could call the prime creator God source. You could call the prime creator source God if you wanted to. You don't have to be religious. You can still, and you don't have to give praise or worship. Just honor yourself. Pay homage to yourself. Pay homage to all those around you. And that's how you honor the prime creator source.
Oh yeah, I mean, I believe that's the energy that moves us.
Yeah.
We got a Facebook user asking, "What if you put out good energy and get negative energy back?"
Oh, I don't even think it works. It does. I don't think that's possible. Actually, I don't think that's possible. You put out positive energy, you get positive energy back threefold. You know.
Yeah, basically what you're referring to. Basically, what you're referring to is karma.
Yeah, karma, Jim. That's right, karma. I believe karma is a real thing. Yeah, can't see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, but it's there and it's real. Vinci Dar says the pure black eyes are the equivalent of our contacts, but the difference is there's lenses block out radiation, sunlight, and high levels of frequency. James Blake said it's funny. I guess I was meant to see this post. I was drawn to it. And Scott McLennan says, yep, what goes around comes around. That's right. What goes around comes around. Vinci Dar says when the original bodies of Roswell were found, they had black eyes. Upon examination, they found out these eyes were just lenses to block out sun's radiation.
We have a Facebook user asking, what happens if you are a light and get negative energy attacks?
Then you gotta hold fast, brace yourself, and ride it out. Okay, that's what happens when negative energy attacks you. Brace yourself, hold fast, and ride it out. Because I had negative energy attacking me.
Well, darkness is considered negative, so you got to have both. You can't have one without the other.
Oh, and guess who's in the house? Julianne Guthrie Smolson says, and that was Julianne Guthrie Smolson who actually said that. Julianne Guthrie Smolson said, what if you put out good energy and get negative energy back? That was her who said that. And I said, hold yourself, brace yourself, hold fast, ride it out. And she says, and Julie says, what happens if you are light and get negative energy attacks you? Yeah, the same thing. Brace yourself, hold fast, and ride it out. Does that mean you are putting out negative energy? No, Julie, it doesn't. When you are a light worker, when you are shining, your brilliance is shining off you, your essence, pure, like a beautiful white light or blue light, you will attract negative energy. You will attract it. And you may be a victim of attack by negative energy. And that's where negative energy is sent to attack you to test your strength. That's why. To test your strength, to see what you're made of. Are you a warrior? Are you a sheep? Are you a lamb? Or are you a wolf, a lion, or a dragon? What are you?
Midnight Rider says, I do not necessarily agree with Gary's perception of most experiences interaction with the ETs. I was a UAP investigator for nearly 8 years and worked with many who were abducted, taken.
Cody Greer says, funny you should talk about the eye lenses. I've seen videos of autopsies of removal of eye lenses, regardless if the videos were fake or it's interesting. Cody, I'd like to add that to you. See the tall greys that were captured? They had lenses over their eyes. Those eyes are not their eyes, they were lenses. And when they were removed, they showed their true eyes. The eye lenses were covers there to protect them from the radiation of the sun. So yeah, I agree with that totally. James Blake says, have you ever heard of the light method, shielding yourself from negative frequencies and energies? It's like a blanket of light all around you. Well, James Blake, come on the show and share it with us. Tell everyone about your light method because we'd love to hear it.
Facebook user says, I have a question for experiencers. Did anyone experience extreme temperatures? Cold?
That come from Julie Ann Guthrie Smolson. That question. Extreme temperatures. Yes, I've got a chamber where I perform rituals if I wish, and the temperature in that room drops extremely low. And when you breathe out, when you breathe your air, your oxygen from your body comes out. You can see it in the air. You can see a fog leaving your mouth.
Yeah, it's condensation. Yeah, difference of temperature. Yeah.
Yeah, total drop. Absolutely. Yeah, in the lounge here, in the chapel here, it is warm and quite hot, actually. Yeah, in the chamber, it is extremely cold, and there's no explanation for them. Yeah.
Midnight Rider says, I found that many people were very unhappy with being taken because of the excruciatingly examined, because they were excruciatingly examined without any explanation or significant communication with the short gray beings.
Yeah, that's right. Because really,
Well,
abduction is kidnapping.
I'm connected to the short grays, and my experience at first was mind-boggling. Let's put it that way. But all of it up until this point, I can say that it's been a positive experience.
James Blake says he's really enjoying this show. He'd like, and maybe some other time he will come on the show. He's really enjoying the show. Thank you for that. Yeah, me and Jim Andre are esoteric intellectuals, just like you are. Just like all of you watching are esoteric intellectuals. You may not know it, but you know it now because I've told you. That's what you are. Esoteric intellectuals, because you love knowing about what is out of the box phenomena, which the mainstream media, the mainstream audience just wouldn't comprehend. It's too much information for you to comprehend.
That's what the mainstream media doesn't want, critical thinkers.
Yeah. Hi there, James Dean. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Richard M. Strickers, if I said your name right. Thank you for joining us as well. Vic Makaroff says, one must be aware that one can professional all sorts of positivity in this physical state, but what eventuates is your true state that will govern primarily what happens to you to the then when dealing with energies of external forces. That's right. Absolutely.
Midnight Rider says it has now been established that the short gray beings doing the frequent abductions are actually cloned drones created by and working for the malevolent reptilians. Well, I'd have to disagree with that. They are clones in a sense. They are like AI, artificial intelligence, and they are clones of each other, but they are here on a mission, and it's not for nefarious reasons. Vic Makaroff says, I believe it was interdimensional black magic.
I believe I don't believe extraterrestrials use magic. I think it's quantum mechanics, quantum mysticism is what extraterrestrials use.
Quantum physics.
Yeah, you use quantum physics, Jim. Definitely. Vinci Dar says not all reptilians are malevolent. That is true. Okay. Not
There's
all
good and bad in
reptilians
all
are
species,
malevolent.
right? There's good and bad in all species.
Yeah. I reckon a large portion are benevolent. No, sorry, a large proportion are malevolent. However, there are some good reptilians out there. Maybe a third, 30%. If we say 30% of reptilians are benevolent, I think that would be a fair assessment. James Dean says it's a pleasure, Bradley. Thank you for sharing that with us, James. Vinci Dar says some are healers. Yes, some reptilians are healers. I've never heard anyone say that before about reptilians. Thank you for sharing that, Vinci.
It's all about intent.
Vinci Dahl says, we're A1. Our world is a computer. We're but microchips in a motherboard. Thank you for sharing that. Midnight Rider said, Bradley is correct, in my opinion. The way they are taken is more like being kidnapped because they're taken without consent. Thank you for that, Midnight Rider. They are taken without consent, which is kidnapping. They don't say, excuse me, do you mind if we take you for a ride on our spaceship? They don't say that, do they? They don't ask you, they just take you. And then some species will probe your butt, your anus, for DNA samples. Wow.
That's TMA. That's too much information there, Bradley.
That is rather rude.
TMI,
really?
Too much information.
Yeah. Excuse me, you say you're meant to be talking to me from this end, not that end.
That's too much information, Bradley.
Cody Greer says, I studied a lot into quantum physics. I've lived a life of quantum mysticism, Cody. A life of quantum mysticism. And scientists say that quantum mysticism is a jargon, a science of gibberish. Well, they say that because they don't fully understand it. That's why. Jim is quantum in himself. Scientists would not understand Jim Andre.
Yeah, they would say that this does not compute.
Does Jim understand Jim Andre? How about that for a question? I think Rambo understands Jim Andre, but Jim Andre understands.
Yeah, good old Rambo, my German Shepherd. Back the other day thinking, right, that I have him trained when in reality, when you really stop to think about it, he's got me trained. I feed him every day, wait on him hand and foot.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? Richard M. Strichers says, also, I don't know if you've covered it, but what are your thoughts about the beings in Miami Mars? James D says, Miami, the veil is thin and solar flares raise the vibration, which in turn reveals their cloaked self. Midnight Rider says, Vinci Dar says, Midnight Rider, an ancient soul cannot be taken. It's the will and the nature of the soul to be taken. And that's being taken is subjectively an approach to take a reincarnation, to accept its path, to extend its soul's journey in whatever hall of programming. We don't truly get kidnapped. We get a learning experience to enhance that soul's past as well as its future. Thank you for sharing that.
Florida's going to be a hot spot for UFO landings. I know that. That's one reason why I relocated when I retired from Massachusetts down here to Florida. And I can say that the first open, authentic UFO landing that they're going to be able to cover up regarding full disclosure is going to take place at Bok Towers here in Florida. I live about 7 miles away from there. So there's going to be a lot more activity regarding extraterrestrials in this area. That I'm sure of.
Yeah.
Midnight Rider says, correct, Jim, about the fact that they're not all the same. The taller grays are different from the cloned short grays. Their intent of interacting with humans is much more benevolently shown.
Vinci Dar says, I'm from Florida as well. Hey, you and Jim should connect. You and Jim should have a cup of tea and a slice of cake together.
I'm down here in Lake Wales, Central Florida. Yeah, so that UFO landing is going to take place. That public UFO landing will take place in the future, near future, I might add, at Bok Towers. That's a like a bird sanctuary here in Florida. If anybody's not familiar with it, they can Google it. Bok Towers, BOK Towers.
Well, I've shared the show. We are live in 54 groups, Jim. 54 groups. That's
Wow.
not counting messages.
Well, if we're live in that many groups, we should have more than 9 viewers, I would think.
Yeah, we have, Jim. In different other forums, I've got more in. We have got more than that. What's actually showing on the screen here? I've got more different. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 forums on the go here, and they're all showing different figures.
Oh, you got 4 different devices.
Yeah, I've also purchased a couple more tablets. That way,
So
I've got more.
what's the total views on the others?
I reckon we got over 20 viewers at the moment. Yeah,
All right.
easy. And they all think they've seen double. That's what they're saying. Vinci Dar says, I grew up by MacDill Air Force in Tampa, Florida. You familiar with that, Jim? Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, I know what Tampa is. Facebook users say 3 times I've experienced what people refer to as sleep paralysis, which is usually a precursor to abductions, if you may. Twice by tall grays and once by demonics. All 3 times I was able to stop it by calling the name of Jesus. Would aliens be bothered by someone calling out to Jesus when experiencing sleep paralysis?
Exactly. Oh, that's a very good point. Thank you for sharing that, Vic. I like your question extremely. I was being attacked by a demonic entity once, and the attack was so intense. I woke up and shouted out the name Merlin, and the demon fled. I didn't even know I was going to do that. I just did. So, and in your account, you're saying Jesus and extraterrestrial entity fled. Amazing. Is it faith or is it the name that actually scared them? Or your faith in the name? That's a question, isn't it?
Well, we're already at the top of the hour here, Bradley.
We are. Oh, cool. We are. For 45 seconds. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for being loyal supporters over the years. It's been a pleasure to have you near us. Gary W. White was our guest on the show for half an hour at least. And we have Jim Andre, alien abductee, and quantum healer. I'm a spiritual advisor and a mystic, Bradley Powers. And until next time, watch this space. See you on Sunday, same time, same place.
See you all in the next one.